Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for choosing Across the Fence. I'm Will Michael in for Fran Stoddard. A statewide celebration of Vermont farms and foods is about to get underway. It's a chance to get a behind-the-scenes look into our vibrant agricultural working landscape and the people who make it happen. It's all part of the 2022 Open Farm Week that kicks off this coming Sunday, August 7th, and it runs through next Sunday, August 15th. Events are happening all across the state, and it's a great time to get out and explore. So to tell us all about Open Farm Week, I'm joined by two guests. Pereira is the Executive Director of the Vermont Fresh Network, and alongside her is Lisa Chase, who's the Natural Resources Specialist with UVM Extension. Good afternoon. Thank you both for being with us.
Thanks for having us.
So Tara, get us started. For those who don't know, what is Open Farm Week?
Well, it's a statewide event, a week-long campaign event of farms, on-farm visitations. It's really a celebration of Vermont agriculture, Vermont farms, and it offers visitors a backstage pass, basically to be able to learn about local food, enjoy authentic agritourism on-farm experiences, and it's really a chance to build relationships with our local farmers.
I think you said it well when you said backstage pass. This is really opening up stuff that we might drive by or even know a little bit about our local farm, but this is the one that gets us access to just about everything we ever wanted to know about local food, where it comes from, and the agritourism experiences that we're going to talk about.
Yes, definitely. I mean, there's such a range of experiences, foods, farmers, and just, there's such a diversity of the things that we grow, the types of animals we raise, and it's great to really explore that and experience that and learn about it.
Fresh local food, this is a week coming up that's for you. So talk about some of the events, some of the festivities, some of the things that people can enjoy around the state. And I know we have some pictures from, again, around the state, some of the host sites. So as we see some of that, tell us a little bit more about what will be going on.
Well, as I mentioned, there's quite a range. There are over 105 events during the week at over 53 farms. And it also coincides with National Farmers Market Week, which is kind of neat. But you can go feed the pigs. You can go for on-farm dinners, yoga on the farm. There's actually a antique tractor event. They're really happening in every county in the state, and we just want people to explore. It's summertime, it's August, and this is just the prime farm visitation. Yeah, yoga on the farm with goats, super fun. And it's actually also about craft too. We have there's of course sampling of beverages, samplings of foods, but also we have some for people who are into fiber. There's some wool events and knitting and that sort of thing. I mean, learning about the many products and the many people and places to go. It's a fun adventure.
And it's all statewide. You can travel near, you can travel far, but again, it's in your backyard, it's in the county next door. Who pulls all of this together? Obviously, Vermont Fresh. We're going to talk with Lisa Chase of Extension. Who else is involved here?
Well, we have a group of collaborative partners. This is the 8th year, so we've all been working hard for many years, and it's great to work with all these other organizations, Vermont Department of Tourism, Vermont Agency of Agriculture, Food and Markets, the Farm-Based Education Network, NOFA Vermont, City Market, and Farm to Plate, as well as, of course, Vermont Fresh Network and UVM Extension. We all really have a passion for this, and it's so fun to work together to pull this off.
Well, speaking of extension, let's draw Lisa Chase into the conversation. Lisa, talk a little bit about the role that you and Extension play as part of Open Farm Week.
Well, as Tara mentioned, there's quite a few partners involved in organizing Open Farm Week. And here at UVM Extension, we focus on technical assistance for the farms, and we partner with the Farm-Based Education Network and NOFA to address questions around event design, marketing, safety, liability, any other issues that come up for farms interested in opening to visitors. UVM Extension also takes the lead on the evaluation of Open Farm Week to check in with the participating farms and farmers markets to find out what worked well for them and how could we make this better for the future.
We've mentioned it's the 8th year. It's been successful, but tell us why it continues to be important that people visit a local farm, or again, somebody that's maybe a county or 2 or 3 away. Why is it important?
Visiting farms or agritourism benefits both the farmers and the visitors and the communities. Farms benefit because they're able to diversify their income sources and bring in additional revenue. Visitors, and these visitors could be neighbors, or they may have traveled to long distances. They may be coming to Vermont specifically for Open Farm Week. These visitors have the opportunity to learn about farming firsthand, which is something that many people don't have access to today. There's a growing body of research on the health and wellness benefits of spending time in nature, on farms, and with animals. Visiting farms and getting fresh air and fresh food, it's not only healthy for our bodies, but it's also really important for our minds and our emotional well-being.
Excellent points all around. We were talking before we began the program, that idea that this is really part of Vermont's identity. I don't know that we take it for granted, but for a lot of us, this is everyday life. And your point, I think, is that question, some people will say, where does our food come from? And people in this day and age say, from the grocery store. We know a little bit better than that in Vermont. Again, this is part of our fabric. Is that fair?
Absolutely, yes. And it can be surprising to me and other folks in Vermont who are used to picking up their veggies from the CSA and the farmers market, and everybody's got the place that they get their maple syrup from and they get their creamies from, or they're sugaring themselves, or they've got hens themselves. It can be really surprising when we talk to urban family members or, folks from other parts of the country or around the world who are really shocked to hear that maple syrup comes from a tree. I was explaining that to my nephew who lives in New York City the other day. He thought I was joking. He kept saying to me, Aunt Lisa, you're pulling my leg. I'm like, no, maple syrup really is from a tree. I got to take you to a sugar house in Vermont.
Education one at a time, and yes, take him to the sugar house. Now, Lisa, you're the natural resources specialist with Extension. You're also the statewide director of the Vermont Tourism Research Center. Through your work, you're involved locally, nationally, internationally in agritourism. What can you tell us about agritourism specifically in Vermont?
Something that people in Vermont may not realize is that we are a leader nationally and even internationally in agritourism. We are honored to host the second International Agritourism Conference. It's coming to Burlington in late August. And just recently, Governor Scott signed a proclamation stating that August is Agritourism Month, in part to emphasize Open Farm Week and the International Conference coming to Vermont, but also just to help all of us in Vermont realize how important agritourism is to our state and around the globe.
And I also think, Lisa, that's a tip of the hat to you and so many others, the Vermont Fresh Network, our other guest, Tara, that idea that agritourism is something that's important to us culturally and economically. We've come a long way. We weren't talking about gubernatorial proclamations 20 years ago, were we?
That's right. I started working for UVM Extension 20 years ago, but even before I got here, another 10, 20 years previously, Beth Kennett from Liberty Hill Farm and my predecessor at UVM Extension and a whole bunch of entrepreneurial farmers were doing it. They didn't necessarily have a name for it yet, but then they realized, oh wait, agriturismo is a thing in Italy, it could become a thing here in the US as well. And they named it agritourism and began to work together to help farmers, visitors, and our government agencies understand what agritourism is and why it's so important to our farms, our communities, and also to our visitors.
And you've, through Extension, have done quite a bit of research over the last 20 plus years on agritourism. You've identified some issues that you can help Vermont entrepreneurs, Vermont farmers with. Some of the research, you have issues that you can help them with. What, quickly as we run out of time, what are some of those challenges that you can help with?
We did a survey of farms in Vermont and around the country, and farms told us that some of their major challenges and barriers include time management, labor, marketing, and concerns about liability and safety. So we work collaboratively around the state with many of the partners putting together Open Farm Week to address these concerns.
We are just about out of time. So Tara, let me come back to you quickly. We're going to be outdoors. It's beautiful summertime Vermont, but some people may say, well, what do I need to wear? How do I need to prepare to go to a farm?
Yeah, sure. Well, weather can be unpredictable, as we all know. And so I would prepare for that. But, this year we have a couple of 5K races. So I would say a good pair of sneakers. But in general, bug spray, closed-toed shoes, and you don't mind getting a little muddy. And then definitely sunblock and a water bottle. But I would also say you might want to consider bringing a cooler, because all our farms, many of our farms have farm stores, and you never know what you might find. A little cheese here, some other types of vegetables there. So I would say take advantage of that.
Some great shopping opportunities. It's a great time to point out that the 2022 Open Farm Week opens this Sunday, August 7th, and once again it runs through Sunday, August 14th. For detailed listings of some of the things we've talked about and the other events that we haven't had a chance to, go to the website on your screen, diginvt.com. And that's our program for today. We know you have choices, so thanks for choosing us. I'm Will Michael, inviting you to join us back here each weekday afternoon for another visit Across the Fence.